Hello, I'm back after almost a year of absence. I'm sorry about that, really. I've been busy. But I don't really find it easy for now coming here to make a video or anything. But what encourages me is just the fact that whatever I say here could be of help to somebody. It could be a piece of advice. It could be something that maybe can just encourage somebody. Because personally, I've learned a lot from many people on YouTube. I've learned so many things on YouTube, and I feel that I also need to contribute, no matter how little. So that is why I'm here, and I'm glad to be here this afternoon. My name is Ife. I am a Nigerian who lives in France, and as you all know, I don't know, but I'm a teacher here. Okay, I teach at the university, and the purpose of my video, the purpose of my discussion this afternoon, is to tell you, to share with you what I have learned from being a university teacher here in France. So as you all know, I came to France in 2012. I came after studying French in Nigeria. So my intention was to further my studies and to also improve my French, because I just felt, and I still feel, that the best way to learn a language is by going to where it is spoken. So I've been in France since 2012. I've been visiting Nigeria, but I've been here most of the time. And after doing my master's, I decided to go for my PhD. I started my PhD in 2015, and I defended in 2019. Okay, so I started teaching in 2016, and I started as a part-time teacher, what we call vacataire here. And then from there, I moved up, and I'm here today, really. So I'll be sharing with you what teaching has made me learn, and not just teaching, what teaching in France has made me discover. The first thing I'll be talking about here, I have my notes here, so that's why I'm bending down now to look at it. The first thing I would say is that teaching in France and teaching as a profession has made me more humble. But I would say here that it's because it's in France. Teaching in France has made me humble, more humble. Because if you're talking about humble, it's like, you might be wondering that, oh, is it that you were not humble before? Or were you proud? Or no, it's not the case. It's just that it has made me discover that there's nothing new under the sun. That you have a PhD or you've done this is nothing new, because you will still discover somebody that has done far beyond what you've done. So let me even talk about maybe I will talk about it in a different video, how PhD is done in France. But PhD in itself is a humbling process, because when you decide to, like me, for example, here, when you maybe your masters, doing your master's program, maybe you were brilliant, your scores were good and everything, and your lecturers were telling you, oh, why don't you go for your PhD? And you just, normally students will feel, oh, wow, I'm doing good now, so my PhD should just be a walkthrough. It should be easy. But that is not the case, really. It's not the case. By the time you write a paper or you write a chapter and your supervisors criticize it, sometimes that is when you will realize that it has nothing to do with your master's degree. It has nothing to do with the A's you've had or the A's you had in your master's degree. So PhD for me was a humbling process. I can remember that I had two supervisors, and whenever I was going to their office to receive feedback from them, I would be sweating. And I can remember that during that time, it was even winter here. I would wear my coat and everything. But whenever I got to the office, like I got to the building, I would just start sweating, because I knew what was waiting for me there. And sometimes I would even write. I would write and I would feel that, whoa, this thing is top notch. I've done the best stuff. Everything should be fine. But then I would go in, and my supervisors, I would just be between them, and they would criticize my work. I'm telling you, sometimes when going out, I would just feel that, wow, do I even Am I even supposed to be a teacher? Or am I even supposed to be a doctoral student? Am I brilliant enough? It's as if I don't even know anything. So PhD was even a humbling process for me. It was a humbling process. So I just discovered during my PhD that, see, you just have to calm down, and just accept the fact that you are here to learn, and be ready to receive feedback. Be ready to receive feedback. Feedback is one of the things that a PhD, a doctoral student must be ready to be ready to accept. There's a way they put it in French here. You should be ready to eat, like literally eat criticism. If I should translate it word for word, it means that as a doctoral student, you should be ready for feedback. And the feedback sometimes could be so hurtful. It could be so harmful that sometimes you could start questioning everything about you. So for me, after my PhD, and when I started, because I started teaching before I defended my thesis. So even during that period, it was still a humbling process for me. Another thing in France that has made me more humble is the fact that having a PhD in France does not mean that you'll be called doctors. I don't know, but I think in the US or in the UK, people are addressed as doctors. Even before defending in Nigeria, people are already called doctors. In France, nobody calls you doctor. After defending my thesis, and when everything was done, they didn't even refer to me as a doctor. They just said, oh, congratulations, you have successfully finished your program. So there's nothing like you are now doctor. No, nobody calls you that. Even on the doors, the names is just your first name. My colleagues call me with my first name, and I also do the same. Even my project supervisors, I had a supervisor that was like a professor, but I still addressed him with his name. The difference is that he gives feedback to me, and then whenever we have meetings, he's the one who makes the final decision. But about names and all these things that we like to do in Nigeria, there's nothing like that. So and I like the system, really. It's one of the things I love in France. The fact that no matter who you are, you should still be accessible. It's something I love in France. Because I feel that when people are addressed or called doctors, doctor this, doctor that, it gets to their head. And I can see the effect in Nigeria. You would see a doctor in the class, the students would be so scared, they would not be able to say anything, as if the doctor is God. So when you're not called, when you're not addressed that way, I feel it makes you calm. It calms you, and you at least you know that, okay, there's nothing so extraordinary about it. You are just a teacher, okay? And then it makes you accessible. Your students don't need to start shaking because you are there. So it's one of the things I've learned in France. Teaching in France, having my PhD in France, all those things have contributed to my being they made me discover another aspect of life, that there's nothing extraordinary in this world. Just remain humble. And that's what I've learned. Another aspect is that when you even start teaching, you discover that you still don't know much. That's what I've discovered as a researcher, as a teacher. Every day I discover that I don't know much. Even when I think in my head that, oh, this topic I've covered this. This is this thing, I should be able to say it even when I'm sleeping. But then when I discuss it with students or even read more, I discover that, oh, you just know a little. You don't know much. You just know a little about it. So, and this aspect has made me like open. Even when I'm teaching in class, I can tell you here that there's a course I teach translation, okay, translation from French into English. And sometimes I would prepare my text from home, and I'll be feeling that, whoa, this is done. This is the final thing. I've really worked hard today. Then when I get to class and I ask my students, how did you translate this? By the time they give me their options, to be sincere with you, there are times that their options are far better than mine. And I just had to be humble enough to accept it. I had to be meek to say, okay, your translation is better, your solution is better than this. So it's just one of the things that I've come to discover, that thanks to my PhD, thanks to my work and my career and everything, I've learned to be more humble. And when I go to Nigeria today, people always tell me, oh, are you really a doctor? Are you sure you really did PhD? I did a doctorate degree, but please don't address me with Dr. Enti. My name is Ife. That is it. Now, the second point is still related to this, which is that one keeps learning. One keeps learning, and it's one of the things that I've also learned. Learning never ends. In fact, I was saying, I think I said it, I discussed it with somebody last month, that when you are defending your thesis as a doctoral student, you feel that, okay, now it's finished. You've not finished yet. You still keep writing. You keep writing, you keep contributing. It's like, okay, let me talk about France. As a teacher in France, I think your CV as a researcher needs to be updated, just like your CV as a teacher. Okay, for me now, I teach at the university, but then the research aspects too, I still need to keep writing. I still need to keep making research. So it's as if you never rest, and it's like, when am I going to rest? When am I going to say, okay, I'm no longer making research? To be honest, it's not possible, except maybe when I'm dead, or when I'm no longer alive. So it's like you keep learning, you keep reading, you keep discovering. And it's one of the things that I've discovered, and it's very good because it keeps you awake. Like, you are awake, you are open, and you just know that what I am, you can still do better. You just need to keep improving. You need to keep searching. You need to keep learning. So it's one of the things that I've learned here in France, and as a teacher in France, and I'm really happy. I'm enjoying it. Just like somebody said, if you do what you like, it's so easy. It's easier, and it keeps you. It's the fact that you are doing what you like helps you. It has helped me even when I had difficulties. I'm telling you, teaching is a job that is like unpredictable. Sometimes you can decide from home that this is what I'm going to do with my students today. Everything is good. And you get to class, you meet something that you never expected, something you had not planned for. And you have to adapt. So, but sometimes, even when I face difficulties, when I have issues, and I just feel that this thing is quite difficult, what encourages me is the fact that it is a job I like. I like teaching. I don't know if I've told you before, but right from when I was young, I have desired to be a teacher. So for me, lecturing at the university is not something like, oh, I'm just doing it because I didn't get another job. No, I'm doing it because it's a job I love. Maybe in another video, I will even tell you why I love being a teacher. It's something I like. I just like the university environment. I just love the environment. Passing by, seeing books, seeing students, seeing teachers. I love it. I feel fulfilled. It's just an environment that I love. And this has been the case since birth. I don't know, maybe it's because my parents who are retired lecturers. So I think maybe I got it from them, or maybe I inherited it from them. But it's something I love so much. I love being a teacher, okay? So and it has helped me during my difficult days. That let me be sincere, there are days that I've had some bad days, really, that maybe something went wrong in class, I could not control it, or I thought a particular topic, I wasn't satisfied with it, or my students were not satisfied, and I could see it. So I've had those periods, those difficult periods, but then what kept me going was the fact that teaching is what I love to do. And so I always say to myself, even though I'm not there, even though I'm not good enough today, I'm getting there. I know I'm getting there. And I know that I'm not where I was 5 years or 4 years ago. I can see the improvement. So those are the things that encourage me. Another aspect that I would like to talk about is, which is the last for today, maybe I will still do another video, but another thing that teaching in France has taught me is patience. Patience, really. Patience. Patience is not part of I would not say it's part of my positive part, my good points. No, a very patient person. I've really improved and I'm still improving, but I'm not really a patient person. I especially when sometimes I'm so dogmatic that I'm not even patient to look at things in another way. I'm just like this, and that is it. So, but teaching has helped me to adapt, to discover things, and to know that things must not always be this straight. It could come, it could move this way, and life will still go on. So that is what I've come to discover. Because with my students, when I started teaching at first in 2016, I had these things on my head that students should do their homework, they should be quiet, they should be early, all this is. But then with time, I discovered that no, there could be issues and it's normal. I just have to move on. I shouldn't dwell on them. Okay, so, and then I've discovered that when I tried in the past, when I tried to be dogmatic, when I tried to expect things to work in a certain way, I was disappointed. And because of that, my students too were disappointed, because I criticized, or I tried to criticize their work, or I tried to complain or talk about one thing or the other. So they became angry, and I was angry too. And I just discovered that that approach was not good enough. So I started learning how to approach some issues in class. For example, a student that has not done their work, instead of telling the student, "Are you not supposed to do your work?" I instead asked the student, "Why didn't you do your work? What did you do?" If it was a weekend, maybe if it was a day before, after the weekend, I would ask the student, what were you busy doing the weekend? Do you work? Apart from your study, do you work? Or were you busy? Did you travel? And students are really, some of them are so sincere. They'll just tell you, no, I just completely forgot. And I'm telling you, this response to me suppresses my own anger. A student who tries to tell me, okay, I traveled, or I'm working, I'm also working, apart from my studies, I'm working, or I completely forgot, I'm sorry. All these things suppress my own anger and expectation. And the students might feel guilty or sad, but they are not sad that I'm trying to criticize them or trying to criticize what they've done. They are sad because maybe they've not done what they are supposed to do. So this way, it has really helped me. Okay, students can do this, they can do this. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Just, this is how you should approach it. Just do it this way, approach it this way, and approach it this way. And it has worked out. It has made me more patient. It has made me more tolerant, really, open-minded and everything. Another issue is the aspect of students being rude in class. I can tell you, students are rude sometimes. Sometimes they just talk to you anyhow. And it has to do with nothing that maybe it's because I'm a Nigerian. No, students are rude. When I came to France, I used to have a teacher. Then she's a white, but she will tell you, don't be rude. She will tell you, please don't be rude. And you dare not talk to her anyhow. So it's being rude here has nothing to do with maybe because I'm a Nigerian, I'm expecting my students to respect me. I've learned to be patient, even in those moments, to know how to approach. I've learned that trying to throw backwards, like a student said this and I reply immediately. I've learned that such method does not work. Instead of trying to reply immediately, I take time to think. Sometimes I'll bring it up again and I will ask the student, okay, why did you say this? This is this. For example, last year, I think, I had a student like that. This person with, whenever I asked his mates for their work, he would just say, even without me asking him, he would just tell me, don't ask me, please. Or he would just tell me, you don't even bother asking me. Just like that. And it went on, but I just felt that, how would the student be talking to me like this? Don't even bother asking me. And I don't know how to put it because he said it in French. So translating it into English might sound maybe not sound different or insignificant. But he will just tell me, don't even bother asking me. Or just don't come near me. That kind of thing. So one day I just asked him, I said, Do you always talk to your teachers, other teachers, like this? Because I really think it's not polite enough. And when I said it, the student just apologized immediately and it stopped. And there are times that you just keep quiet, because I've discovered that there are students who they want attention. So the only way they can get your attention is by saying nasty things. So sometimes I just keep quiet. I just do as if I didn't hear. And there was an incident. I had a case in which a student said so many things. The student I don't think the student was just angry that day. She came to class, and when I tried to say something, she just started talking and she was rude. And I never said anything. I just kept on teaching. God helped me. I continued teaching. I never said anything. At the end of the class, the student came back and apologized to me. And the person told me that, oh, maybe the person said she had had a bad day. And that was it. So sometimes I've discovered that sometimes as a teacher, you just need to even keep quiet. You don't need to even reply. You don't need to reply. And even when you reply, don't try to criticize the person. Try to ask questions. Where do you live? Did you have a busy weekend? Do you work? So these questions enable you to understand the student better, and they suppress my own anger, make me more tolerant, and make me more patient. That is it. Oh, that is it. And then another aspect you need to also know is that I'll be sincere with you. As a black teacher, it's you might receive some nasty statements, really, as a black teacher. But just as I've said, you still have to be patient. You give students or give people benefits of doubt. So instead of trying to chastise a student, find out, where did you grow up? Did you grow up in a big city? Where do you live? Because from there, you understand better why the students might be saying, or the students have said some of the things they said. Okay? Like, for example, when a child has been told for many years that a set of people are like this, they are like this, for many years, there is no way that child will grow up and will not reproduce the same thing. But if I, as a teacher, understand that, okay, because this student grew up here, he's saying this, I won't be very angry. To me, when I just see it that way, I don't even feel angry again. I just say, oh, it's not his fault. It's not her fault. It's what she has been told. It's what he has been told. And with that, things are better. I feel lighter. I feel better. So that is what I've learned. I think I'll make another video. I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you would like to know more about my experience as a Nigerian in France, kindly subscribe and also like this video, please. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Bye.